Așa că o să dau acum cuvântul CyberArk să ne povestească câteva lucruri.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. I will give one more minute to wait. So first I would like to start with thank you very much to Christy and the DataCore team for a great event. I'm really excited. My name is Roy Abayov, and I'm account executive for CyberArk, managing Venafi solution, which I'm going to talk in a minute. Just started my 8 years in CyberArk, and I'm very excited to be here today, so thank you again. So a little bit about the agenda for today. We are going to talk about machine identity security, which is a very hot topic in the last 4 years based on Gartner. This is the most interesting topic to CISOs. The agenda is a little bit about, again, machine identity security trends, risk and threats, and then how can CyberArk can help you on the machine identity security solution. So for many years, probably you heard about CyberArk. So for many years, we were a known company as a leader with our PAM solution, with the privileged access management. But since last year, CyberArk decided to change our mission. We are here in order to protect any identity in your organization. And when we are talking about identities, we know that there are two main identities in every organization, human and non-human identities. When we are talking about human, in the end of the day, credentials is one of the most important stuff to protect user and password. But when we are talking about machine identity security, there is a huge pillar that we need to cover. In addition to changing our mission, we just published our new methodology, how your organization should look. We are talking about 4 main personas. When we are talking about the personas, we are talking about the workforce persona, which means that we are talking about regular users like me, like you, that may need to connect on a daily basis to your organization. In addition to that, contractors and sometimes even DevOps or cloud engineering team. The second persona is more talking about IT persona, which include the system admin, contractors, subcontractors, third parties. And the third one is the developers, when we know that we are talking about cloud engineering, DevOps, and so on. These 3 main personas are definitely part of the human identity. But now I would like to focus on the 4 persona which talked about machines. And machines could be a huge world of different type of devices when we are or applications that we need to cover. If we already talked about the machine identity security, based on the research that we did on 1,750 customers in 2024, we found out that the ratio between human identity to machine identity is 1 to 45. I have quite new information that we did based on a research of 2,600 customers. By the way, CyberArk today have more than 10,500 customers worldwide. And based on the research that we found out that the number grow exponentially, which means today we are talking about ratio of 1 to more than 80 machine identity security. The ratio just grow up on a yearly basis. Today I would like to focus on the machine identity security on the certificate pillar. If you're talking about certificate, it's quite interesting to learn that there are 4 major challenges to each of the IT, system team, CISO, and so on. The 4 major challenges that we see today in the market, the first one is talking about outages. And I will show you in a minute what I mean about losing your outages, suffering from outages on your environment. The second one is, I think it's the most dramatic, is the validity time of the certificate. Yes, sometimes you really don't care, it can run, okay, the service will, we will lose the service and so on, but it's the validity time is become very dramatic. You know, if like when I just started my techie journey, I work in Checkpoint, and we created certificate for 99 years. I'm sure that if I will go to the system that I work in the past, the certificates are still valid. But when we're talking about the validation time and digital transformation and so on, the validity time of the certificate is quite important. Today we are talking about 90 days on Google, but there was just published a new article that talked that until 2029, the validity time of the certificate will change to 47 days, which means that your teams may need to work quite hard in order to renew their certificate, to push the certificate to target system. By the way, Apple just mentioned that they are going to change it to 45 days, probably in the mid of 2026. So we see that it means that your teams may need to invest a lot on this world. The third one is talking about the PKI. Most of the organizations are still using the ADCS, Microsoft PKI, which is a great, but it was mainly focused on on-premise solution. Today, again, with the digital transformation, we see different type of environment. We see hybrid environments, cloud environments, and so on. So the PKI is great, the ADCS is great, but is mainly focused on on-premise. And the fourth challenge, again, this is something that we see quite often, and it's quite common. Teams are still managing their certificates based on Excel file, based on a boutique application that were developed by their team. And it means that still we don't have 100% success rate to manage the certificates, and problems occurred. I would like to focus on two examples what's happened to the organization that did not maintain their certificate. One of them is quite old, but it's still relevant. It's happened in 2017 to Equifax. Equifax is one of the global IT company in US that the Chinese attackers succeed to penetrate to the organization due to out of date of their certificate. Millions of IDs were stolen by Chinese attackers, and their fee that they paid was $500 million. Let me show you a nice video of 2 minutes what's happened on Equifax environment. Basically, as you can see, network traffic had been inactive for 19 months due to unexpired security certificates. As an example, Equifax had allowed over 300 security certificates to expire, including 79 certificates for monitoring business critical domains. It means that even they didn't maintain their certificates, they allow to customers to connect to their environment, but in an unsecured way. Let's see the video that will present you what's happened in the Senate. I think that we don't have a voice. Gabby, if you can help with it, it will be great. Any chance for a voice here? Gabby is here. Gabby, no voice. Can you help? No rush, no pressure. Anyhow, what's happened here on the Senate, Equifax CEO and the CISO were asked what's exactly happening these days. Okay, here we are. Thank you.
A security certificate known as an SSL certificate that encrypted data transfers between Equifax's customers and website. When Equifax developers attempted to install new certificates, they realized that some of the old ones had expired as much as 8 months earlier. That failure led to the exploitation, as you've acknowledged, of millions of Americans' data by what appears to be Chinese hackers. Equifax should have routinely audited its SSL certificates to make sure they hadn't expired, especially since these certificates can only protect user data when they're current. So let me just ask you a few questions. When Equifax sought to upgrade its SSL certificates on July 29, 2017, how many expired certificates did your team come across, and how many of the certificates had been expired by more than a day?
Senator, I don't have that information in front of me. If you'd like me to, I could ask my Chief Security Officer if he could help with that question.
That would be terrific. Thank
Okay.
you. Good morning.
Good morning. Unfortunately, I also was not at Equifax during the time of this incident, and so I don't have that information with me right this moment. But I'm happy to go back to the team. We'll get.
Does the company have that information?
I believe we do. Yes.
And do you know if any of these certificates had been expired for more than 8 months?
Unfortunately, because I wasn't there, I don't have the specifics on the certificates exactly.
I would expect that even though you weren't there, that you would know this or have access to it, because it seems to me that is the type of investigation and understanding that you would want to develop moving forward.
Again, I think that this video said everything, and it's really do us a great when we present it to customers. In the last several weeks, I'm traveling. I think this is the nine week in a row, and I have a lot of session with banks, with insurance, with public, even with construction companies. And when I'm talking with these customers, I'm asking, do you know how many certificates you have in your organization? The first answer that I get is no. And it's definitely reasonable. I just joined the team like 6 months ago, and I'm learning as well, and I see that in most cases, nobody knows how many certificates they have in the organization. Yes, it's being managed by PKI team, by infrastructure team, sometimes even by security, and it's ongoing. So it's so relevant. You know, this video is from 2017, but if I will go several months ago, Alaska Airlines, they had outages, as you can see, out-of-date security certificate which needed to be updated. So their flights were canceled, So their flights were canceled for 2 or 3 days, bad reputation, lost in revenue, and so on. One hot scenario is with one of the famous companies, Google. So Chromecast, which is one of their services, 9th of March 2025, was down as well. What's happened? They didn't renew their certificates. So just imagine that even it can happen to small companies, mid-sized level companies, and huge one as well, enterprises. So CyberArk decided to invest a lot, and we just acquired last year, Q3 last year, CyberArk acquired Venafi in $1.5 billion. This is our biggest investment ever when we are talking about this kind of money. And Venafi is one of the, I think, one of the most mature company on the certificate management, certificate lifecycle management, with more than 20 years of experience, with more than 1,500 customers worldwide. So it's not that CyberArk decided to invest in the machine identity security world just now. We already acquired Conjur in 2018. We are talking about a solution that manages your secrets and rotate your secrets on-premise. In addition to that, we had our Secrets Hub that manages your secrets and rotate them on the cloud level. But let's leave the secrets now and let's talk about the certificate lifecycle management. As I mentioned, CyberArk decided to invest in Venafi. And what are the main capabilities? The first one, when we are talking about certificate lifecycle management, the first thing that we do once we are installing this system in your environment, they're running a discovery. What exactly it means? We will have the ability to find out how many certificates you have on your public environment, but in addition to that, we have the ability to run discovery on the internal environment. So you will get the full status of your certification lifecycle management in your organization, and internal certificates and public certificates. It's quite interesting to see that you can just now download CyberArk environment. It's a tenant that we will provide you based on AWS, and you will get automatically the discovery or the certificate on your public environment. The second one is talking about the PKI, the public key infrastructure on your environment. We are providing it today based on AWS. And then it will allow you to, the performance will be great. We can know how to manage a mass environment of certificates and so on. In addition to that, we have something that's called code signing. What exactly it means? One of the famous breaches, SolarWinds attack, the attackers succeed to penetrate the organization, inject malware, and you know what was the results of that. Why it's happened? Once the development teams finished to develop their code, they didn't sign it by certificate. It was an open code, and it was quite easy to the attackers to inject the malware in this code. So CyberArk's Verify solution have something that called a solution that called code signing, which allow you to sign the code based on certificate. But it's not only that, we have something that's called Verify Firefly. Verify Firefly is something that helps you on your Kubernetes environment. So it's not only certificate lifecycle management, but we are providing the ability to sign your certificates and acquire, for a very short cycle when we are talking about services. In addition to that, we have, as we talked about, the zero-touch PKI, code signing, and SSH Protect. So if you are not CyberArk PAM customer and you don't have the ability to manage your SSH keys, this is one more feature that we are providing. Let's see a short video to show you what about the discovery level. So this is our GUI. So once you just put your details on CyberArk solution, creating your tenant, you will automatically get this GUI, and you will see how many certificates you have and what is the status of each of the certificates. Going to the configuration, network discovery, and you will see that once I create it as a verify.com, we have 582 certificates on the organization, and this is only related to your public. Again, you could do it by yourself on your environment. You just need to create a tenant, put your details, email, and it will take the domain of your email, and then it will send you the number of certificates that you have on your public environment. It's quite easy. But in addition to that, we just talked now about the discovery on the certificate lifecycle management. So once you discover this certificate, you can monitor them. Once you monitor them, you have now other options to do, the renewal. What exactly it means, the renewal? The renewal certificate, it means that once your certificate is going to be expired, you may need to create a request to renew the certificate. Then it will be signed, then it will be sent to the local, not to the local, but to one of the CAs. It will sign, and then it will be sent again to your team, and they may need to push the certificates to the target device. We have the ability to run a full automation. It means we will create the CSR, the certificate signing request. It will signed by CyberArk PKI. We'll send to the CA, you will get it, and we will have the ability to do automation, full automation, and even to push the certificate to the target device. Very important to mention that we have today integration with more than 2,000 target devices, and if we are not support one of your target devices, we have the ability to build a template, to add all the details, and then to make the integration. So just to summarize what I just discussed, what are the benefits that you have today with Verify and CyberArk together? One of them is if you're already a PAM customers, everything will be managed from one unified management system. It means that you will have Verify, PAM, EPM, vendor PAM on one system, which make your engineer's life much more easier. The second one, in order to push the certificate, you may need to have the credentials of the target devices. As you know, the PAM, one of the main capabilities is to manage your credentials and to rotate them. So you don't need to add the credentials. They will taken automatically from the PAM and will be uploaded to the target device when you are pushing the certificates. Of course, we have much more features, but these are currently the main one. That's it. Again, this is, for a short time that I have, these are the main capabilities. Verify is a great solution. We see a lot of demand today in the market, and if you have any other question, I'm here, and I will be more than happy to answer your question. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day.
We have questions.
Okay.
We have questions. So we see great value in the discovery of the simple certificates that live inside the customer network. So we are not talking qualified certificates. But it's unclear to us from your presentation. So you do the discovery, but these are simple self-signed usually. And there are thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands. That's sometimes difficult to discover. You have application dysfunctionalities, and after one day of investigation, you find out that microservice A had the expired certificate and microservice B was not talking to it because of it. But once CyberArk does the discovery of this simple certificate, so the one that live inside the customer network, again, external, even third tier does discovery.
You're right.
But for the internal network, can you issue self-signed or
Yeah. Yes, we can.
So I can issue it CyberArk self-signed and then push it with automation inside the network?
Definitely, yes. One of the things that we are doing with the internal discovery, we have our own connector that should be installed in your environment, and we can scan it based on IP range, we can scan it based on a port range, and once we will get all this information, we will get the self-sign in addition to that, and we can then upload them to the inventory and manage the certificate and push it automatically. If there is something that we are not familiar, we will create a template based on the required fields, and then we will do the integration and push the certificate.
Okay, that's very nice.
With a big pleasure. Thank you.